What's up, everybody? Welcome to 49ers After Dark. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn, Jessie Naylor. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm doing fantastic. Everybody, I want you to know, I know Grant has a reputation for being late. It was me that had the technical difficulties. I am the reason that we are late today, just to clear things up.
Do you want to plug your show real quick before we get started?
Yeah,
Now that we
let's
have
do
your
that.
attention.
Now that we've got your attention, listen, right after this, I'm doing my call-in show on my channel, so make sure you tap in over there, Last Second Sports. Come on over, call in, give your opinions. We're basically going to discuss open forum, what we talk about tonight, and anything else that's on your mind. So tap in.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're moving 49ers After Dark up an hour from 7 Pacific to 6 Pacific so he could do a show afterward. I think it's a good move. I like it. Everyone watch Jesse afterward. The title of the show is Jimmy Garoppolo the most ridiculed quarterback in franchise history? So we're going to talk a lot about Jimmy. We're going to talk about the Niners big picture. Last week, we discussed, are they contenders or pretenders? I said they're pretenders. They've won 3 in a row. We need to rediscuss this. And we're also going to talk about, well, let's start there. Let's talk about this upcoming game because even though it's the 3-8 Seahawks, still the Seahawks, and the Niners are limping into this game, down Deebo Samuel and Fred Warner, 2 of their MVPs. Can they overcome not having these 2 players?
Gosh, Grant, you know what? It's crazy because I feel like anytime you're in a division game, things are always different. Like all bets go out the window. I don't care how bad a team is or how good another team is. You saw what happened when the 49ers played the Rams. This happens all the time. So I don't know what's going to happen in this game. We'll discuss this game in particular. I'm thinking more long term though. What happens if Deebo and Warner miss multiple weeks? This may not be a 1-week injury. They've got to play the Bengals next. That's a really tough game. You drop 2 in a row, then what do you do? So here's my thought process. They're going to have to do a lot of different things than what they've been doing. They can't just come out and play their normal defense, I don't believe. What I would like to see them do a little bit to kind of mix things up and cover for Fred Warner being out is maybe mix in 5 down linemen with 2 linebackers on early downs, and then on late downs, run a lot of dime and have 3 safeties in. I think that's the best way to cover for the gap of Fred Warner being out. I don't think going out there without Greenlaw, without Warner, and just running base defenses is the way to get it done. I would like to see him do something a little bit different. What about you for the defense?
Who would their linebackers be in the base defense? You'd have
Flanagan Fowles and Aziz, I guess,
and
Marcel Harris.
He's got doesn't he have a concussion?
He does, yeah. He may or may not play.
So who's the third linebacker? I mean, it could be Hufanga. That's what I'm saying. So if I were the Seahawks, I would be playing a lot of 2 tight ends based personnel on offense to try to get that matchup. And it'd be interesting to see what the Niners do. I think they believe in Flanagan Foles, so they're not just gonna give him a shot, but let's test him.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So, like I
offense,
said, 5 down linemen is something that the 49ers haven't done a lot, but they're deep enough on the line, especially if Ford does play, to where they could legit try that out at least a few times and mix things up. And then offensively, yeah, go ahead and jump into it.
Well, offensively, I mean, they do have good players on offense. Juszczyk is good, Mitchell's good, Hyde's good, Kittle's good, but Deebo is so much better than everyone. This is a very methodical offense. That's a positive word. It's a very methodical offense, but not when Deebo gets the ball. Like 2 or 3 times a game, he just flips the field because he's so great. And I haven't seen anyone else do that on this team. So can someone do that in this game, or are they just going to have a very methodical attack? I mean, it's not like Seattle has a great offense anyway. So can anyone replicate what Deebo's been doing? Can Kittle do? Kittle used to be able to just run through defenses 2-3 years ago. Haven't seen that from him in a while. I've never really seen that from him. Curious.
Can I ask you something about Kittle? And I should have brought this up weeks ago when I went to the Jacksonville game. So you obviously see him on the sideline. When we're watching on TV, we don't see all that. Is it me, or is he constantly limping? He always looks like he's hurt. After every play, anytime he's going to the sideline, he's got his hands on his hips the way he does, and then he's just constantly got a limp to him. It's like, to me, it looks like his body was just breaking down. I don't know if it was just the Jacksonville game and I'm making too much out of it. Do you notice that, or have you paid attention to that at all?
I haven't noticed. I haven't paid attention to it. I'll pay attention to it now. Good eye. You know, they said he had a calf injury. He missed a little bit of time. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's a gladiator who prides himself on his durability. But yeah, that's probably an issue, man. That's probably an issue. So yeah, if it ain't Kittle, then because he just doesn't look as fast as he used to be. He doesn't.
No. And I heard that's what made me remember it actually is because hold on a second. I think I have the wrong mic in for.
Oh man, there's a show. Everyone, thanks for coming. See you next week. Dang, man. I don't know what he pressed, but that was a mistake. So anyway, how are things? Can the Niners overcome not having Debo and Warner this week? Yeah, I mean, they better. If they there's no excuses this week. I don't want to hear it. They lose to the Seattle Seahawks. Well, they didn't have Debo and Warner. I don't care. The Seahawks are 3-8. You better not get swept by the Seahawks. You better not get swept by the Seahawks. Please. I want to hear it. Hey, Grant. What's up, Denelson? RIP Jesse. Everything was going great. He messed it up. I don't know. He was 5 minutes late. He was like, my stuff isn't working. And he gets in here, and then it was working. Then he's like, oh, I'm not even using the right mic. Bye. Man, that's weak. Oh, well. Well, what's for dinner, Grant? Well, my wife is making me pork chops with some Swiss chard. I like some chard with a chop. Chard and a chop. Chard and a chop. I like that. Bunch of clowns? Who? Us? Call me a clown one more time. See what happens. Call me a clown one more time. JT. See what happens. Call me a clown one more time. Don't sing anymore, Grant. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Wife of the year? Why'd they kick me off the field? I don't know. A good question. There's no rule about it. I'm not on the field. But I moved up higher and there's no problem. So, crisis averted. Dude, Jesse's really not coming back, is he? This is weird. It's just me here. Just me in my room wearing this jacket. Cheer up, bud. JT Conlon's not happy. He paid a lot for this performance. He wanted better. I was the man back in the days. Back in high school, I was the man, homie. The hell happened to me? Pork chops good. I really like pork chops. I'm kind of like I like a bone in, of course, but thin cut. You know, you go to those nice restaurants that give you these big freaking pork chops. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. What am I supposed to do with that?
Dude, I'm going to use my phone while I'm trying to restart this computer. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, me neither. You had it going.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm going to switch to Bluetooth here.
He's switching to Bluetooth. What room am I in? I'm in my bedroom. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. My closet is right there. So yeah, pretty much in the closet, I would have to say, yeah. Thinking about buying a house this year, but haven't gotten it yet. It's lightweight expensive in Oakland these days. Lightweight.
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that my mic wasn't on the right mic. So I'm like, oh, let me switch it to the other mic. Just cut me right out. So I don't know what's going on.
Smack Jones says, get rid of Kittle before it's too late to trade him and Jimmy for 2 second-rounders and a first. Now you can rebuild. Let's face it. A high-value player has to go. Yeah, man, it just seems like a little – I'm with you, Smack Jones. It just seems like it's a little late to trade Kittle. Like, he hasn't done much the last 2 years. Oh, Jesse's gone. Jesse's having a tough time in Tampa, Florida. I'll tell you that. I'm going to give him a few more minutes, though, because we have a whole show. I don't want to do without him. But yeah, get rid of Kittle before it's too late. Yeah, it might be too late already, though. Hold on. Let me tell you what the deal is with George Kittle. I don't think they can get rid of him. I think his cap is prohibitive. Hold on. George Kittle contract. If they were to trade him next year, how much money would they save and how much dead cap would they get? Yeah. They would save $3.5 million and have $12.6 million in dead cap. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Yo.
Sorry, dude.
All good. All good. Look, we can answer some questions while you get settled. How do you see our defense overcoming the loss of 2 key players and adjusting the run game? I think I have a huge question with the defense. They haven't really been tested. They played like 20 minutes a game the last 3 weeks. I'm curious. I still have major questions with this defense. And, if they have to play 30 minutes in this game, I'm curious to see what Russell Wilson can do. Because he usually gets just harassed every game, and the Niners have 1 pass rusher right now. Are the pork chops ready? No. All right. Can we move on?
Yeah, I think I've got my other stuff working finally. So
all right. Well, you make the transition, then we'll go on.
boom.
Seattle doesn't have a run game. They have Adrian Peterson. He was really good 8 years ago. What are you talking about? They're turning back the clock. People calling Grant toxic, but still here watching and commenting. Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, Grant, you're so toxic. Fans shouldn't watch you. You shouldn't watch me. You know how like South Park has that disclaimer before every episode where like this show can be watched by anyone? That's me. All right, boom.
Boom. Gosh.
All right.
I got that Vish Wi-Fi this week.
Great. All right.
Sorry, Vish, you're my guy.
Right.
That was a total jab. I shouldn't have said that.
He's got that college Wi-Fi. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk Jimmy Garoppolo. Is Jimmy Garoppolo the most ridiculed quarterback in 49ers franchise history? Because he catches some ridicule, but we can be kind of prisoners in the moment here. What do you think?
Okay, so for on the field stuff, yeah, I think so. I mean, Kaepernick to me, just because of everything that happened politics wise, that was probably the most. But when I just think of on field play, I mean, not even just quarterback. I think he might be the most ridiculed player. And it's not even necessarily his fault, Grant. I just think it's the position that the teams put him in. They overpaid him, and then they draft a stud rookie that's supposedly supposed to come in and replace him because he's not good enough. You had the greatest quarterback of all time ready to fall into your lap. You passed him up for Jimmy Garoppolo. You're not playing the rookie because of Jimmy Garoppolo. You're paying Jimmy way too much. He's always injured. It's not really any fault of his own, but I think he is. I mean, you've been around the team and you've seen it a little bit more. What do you think?
Well, I do the ridiculing, so maybe that's part of it, but I don't know. I mean, I grew up a Niner fan, and I've been following this team a long time, and not a Niner fan anymore, but it's still like I remember the Jeff Garcia years, and we remember Jeff Garcia as being this Pro Bowl excellent, one of the top quarterbacks in the league at the time, but Niner fans were not happy. They lost Steve Young. He was taken away from us early by Aeneas Williams. And then Jeff Garcia came in, and it just wasn't the same. I mean, he was really good in retrospect, but everyone said he had happy feet. And they didn't like the way he moved around in the pocket, and he was bouncing around in the pocket. He just constantly would talk about his happy feet. And then despite the win, people would make fun of the way he talked. I don't know if you remember, this was like 20 years ago, but they would make fun of the way he talked, and even Terrell Owens did. I mean, he had a comment like, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck. I mean,
yeah, come on, man.
Jeff Garcia used to take. That was the beginning. To me, it's every quarterback since Steve Young. Like, until you win a Super Bowl in San Francisco, you're not good enough. Alex Smith, the things people call, I mean, you're a game manager. You're not good enough. I mean, he was the original Jimmy Garoppolo, like good but not good enough. And then Colin Kaepernick can't read the field, one-read quarterback. I mean, I think it comes with the territory. Niner fans have no freaking patience unless you win the Super Bowl right away.
Social media, too, I think plays a big part in it, right? Obviously, we're in the mix more than ever because of social media. And, social media wasn't really a thing when Garcia was around. Can I make an observation about Garcia that's always bugged me? Does he look like RoboCop to you?
A little bit.
I don't know why. That's always been in my head anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so listen, when Garcia was around, social media wasn't a thing. Obviously, it was when Kaepernick and Alex was. But I even think now that we look back on things, that those guys are revered by a lot of the fan base. And right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is just getting piled on like crazy. I do a lot of the piling. I'm just saying, I feel like he's pretty ridiculed.
No, I know the answer. The most ridiculed quarterback in 49ers franchise history, by far, Nick Mullins. Maybe with CJ Beathard is a close second, man. Those two, the Niner fans had enough. The thing about Jimmy is it's split. It's interesting. There's the Jimmy haters and the Jimmy lovers, and that's what it was like with Kaepernick. That's what it was like with Alex Smith. There was the same thing 10 years ago. There were people saying Alex Smith isn't good enough. And there were people saying, hey, people are being too hard on Alex Smith. He's actually really efficient. He's a good game manager. It was the same thing. And what was interesting about it was like basically a fairly 50-50 even split within the fan base. Mullins and Beathard, they were pretty much unanimously voted off the island. Like, get out.
Get him out of here
right now. So
yeah,
it's kind of rough. Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't want Mullins off the island.
I mean, look, Mullins never got to like do the handoff 40 times, play with Debo Samuel. He never got to do that. Whenever Mullins did, it was like, all right, we're going to throw today. We're going to throw 45 times. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? But I kind of feel like the Niners have been really careful in not making anyone look better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Only Jimmy Garoppolo is allowed to hand off 67% of the time. No one else is allowed to do that.
Dude.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Because even when Lance played, he didn't throw a ton. He threw more than he should have, but he was the offense. He was 82% of the offense. Why is that?
9 handoffs.
Why is that the case? I don't understand it.
Because you got to make Jimmy look good. You got to make Jimmy look good. You're paying $27 million a year for him. You can't undercut that. You want to move on from him, you got to trade him for something good. Apparently, let's talk about that trade market.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Ian Rappaport comes out and said, oh, yeah, I mean, what's good about this year is that the Niners are increasing Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. And they freaking turned down a 3rd-round pick, I guess, in the offseason, and now it's increasing. So my question to you is that true? Is there a trade market for Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, if they did turn down a 3rd-round pick, was it New England? And if it was, they're not in the market anymore. So who is desperate enough to give up a draft pick for the right to spend $27 million on a quarterback who doesn't throw downfield? You tell me.
Okay, well, I'm starting to believe that there is going to be a trade market for Garoppolo, even more than there was last offseason. And here's the reason why. It's all about supply and demand, Grant, okay? When there's a high demand and low supply, prices go up. That's just the way that the market works. That's the same way with the QB market. Let's look at things this year. Who the heck is coming out that is going to be a franchise quarterback? Probably nobody, but there's like 2 guys that are coming out of college that maybe you would take a flyer on to be your guy.
I would take any 1st-round quarterback over Jimmy Garoppolo. You know why? Because he's cheaper. And True. He's a 1st-round pick. I don't care. It's like they're saying like, oh, Matt Corral. I don't even know these guys' names. Like, oh, they're not going to be great quarterbacks. I don't care. Give me 4 years of that dude on a rookie deal, and I'll figure it out after that. I mean, who cares? You really want to spend a draft pick so you can spend $27 million on Jimmy? I'm just saying. People are like, this draft class sucks. I mean, there may not be a Hall of Fame quarterback coming from it, but there could be a lot of good quarterbacks. I'm just saying.
There could be, but here's the problem, Grant. Right now, just looking at the landscape, there's for sure a minimum of 5 teams that absolutely need a quarterback. You've got the Broncos, the Steelers, Washington, the Panthers, and the Texans. 5 minimum right there. Then you've got another 7 or 8 teams that are maybes. You've got the Browns, the Lions, the Giants, the Seahawks. If they get rid of Russell Wilson, obviously he could cover for one of those teams that I mentioned earlier. But then you got the Falcons, Saints, and Miami. That's a lot of teams that are going to need a quarterback. Grant, there's no way that through the draft, through the Russell Wilsons or the Watsons, that you're going to fill all those spots. Some team is going to overpay for Garoppolo. I'm not saying the 1st-round pick,
I don't think so.
But I think that the demand is there because the supply is down. You don't think so?
No. Like, I'm looking at the free agents here. Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent. Why would you send a draft pick to the 49ers and spend all this money on Jimmy when you could just sign Teddy Bridgewater for $5 million? They're the same quarterback, except Teddy Bridgewater is more mobile. And actually isn't afraid to throw the ball down the field. Jimmy used to not be afraid, but ever since he missed Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl, he's thrown like 5 deep passes. He won't throw the ball down the field. He telegraphs his throws, and he hesitates and throws flat-footed. I don't know, man. It seems to me like, okay, let's just go team by team. Give me a team. Give me a team. Who?
Broncos. Steelers. Let's talk about Steelers.
Broncos. Just re-sign Teddy. Re-sign Teddy or draft a quarterback.
Okay.
The Steelers. Draft a quarterback.
Washington.
Or sign Andy Dalton. I mean, really, like, if Andy Dalton were on the 49ers right now, would his numbers be worse than Jimmy's? I mean, you just hand off 40 times a game and then throw the ball to Debo, and it's not hard. This is the way I look at it. Garoppolo, I don't care what his numbers are. His skill set, if we're talking cars, he's got 185 horsepower, okay? And you can get a nice car. You don't need to have a ton of horsepower, but he's a Camry with like leather interior and wood grain wheel and all the nice stuff. And you paid $250,000 for a freaking Camry. I'm like, hey, man, that's a really sweet car. But like, you could have got that for like $30K. That performance, it's not hard to get that. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Teddy Bridgewater does that for $5 million. Mac Jones does that for $2.8 million. Dude, how desperate do you have to be to spend that much money on a Camry? It's a Camry, and that's a solid car. It's a Camry, though. It's a C+. It's not a Stinger.
But the thing is, it's definitely not a Stinger. I like how you did that there. Man. I like how you did that.
Yeah.
But listen, here's the reason that I say that there's going to be a demand for them. Because some people just need a commuter car, Grant. They drive a lot of miles to work, right? They just need a car.
$1,000 on a commuter car. You better not spend it. Your daily driver should not be more than $40K ever. I don't care. Ever.
Somebody's going to do it.
To me, his skill set is so abundant. It's easy to find. Andy Dalton does a lot of that stuff, and he does it for like a quarter of the price or less than that. It's an abundant. It's not a rare skill set. With Jimmy, like, when you're paying $27 million, you need plays that only 10 people in the world can make. He doesn't do that. He doesn't make plays like that. There are no big time throws that he makes. He doesn't throw down the field, and yet he turns the ball over. No. The only team that would trade for Jimmy Garoppolo is the 49ers because they did it already. Look, maybe I'll be wrong, and the Niners will get some pick for him, but I'm going out on the limb right now. They're not going to trade Jimmy. Look, they're going to have to cut him. They're going to have to extend Debo. They're going to have to send Nick Bosa like early in the offseason. The team's going to be like, well, just wait. We're going to call your bluff. See what happens. Let's see how long you keep Jimmy on your books. You could just sign him next year. I don't see it. To me, the Niners are trying really hard to make a market that doesn't exist. I know I'm on my own on this one, and I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm going out on a limb and predicting there will be no trade of Jimmy Garoppolo unless they get really creative. I know that the Rams traded Jared Goff somehow, but no.
They had to give up a lot to do it.
No, there's not going to be
that
desperate.
I don't think
super desperate.
Okay, you and I know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. This fan base, anybody who's smart in the fan base, let me be clear about that. We know.
The league knows it, man. And when they look at him, they're like, limited quarterback, great teammates, great system. We don't have those. We don't have Kyle Shanahan. We don't have Debo Samuel. So when he comes here, we have a guy who won't throw downfield, can't move, can't read the field. I mean, and he's $27 million. It's like trading for Nick Foles. I mean, it's a big mistake. Big mistake. It's a big mistake.
All it takes is one, Grant. That's it. That's all it takes. And there are teams out there that have done stupid things like trading Hopkins for who knows what, a bag of peanuts, and David Johnson. Like, this happens every year. Somebody's going to be dumb enough.
They're hoping for a team to make a big mistake.
There's going to be a sucker team. Yes.
I mean,
a team with a good defense. A team with a good defense. Panthers, Steelers, somebody like that looks at it and says, listen, this Camry drove us to work, or drove the 49ers to work, to the Super Bowl. Why not us with a really good defense? That's those types of teams are the ones that are going to look.
Look, I'm sorry, we can move on, but like the thing with Jimmy, I'm not saying Jimmy sucks. What I'm saying is that Jimmy is outrageously expensive. It's like, Dad, can I get this Camry that's got like the tricked out wheels and like the super duper duper Camry? No. Absolutely not. I'm going to get you a regular Camry that has the same performance. No, there's no way to justify paying this much for him. Like, okay, we want it. Jimmy's, he's solid. He's got a good win-loss. So we got to pay a draft pick and give him all this money or an extension. That's rich.
Extension.
That's freaking, and he gets hurt every year. I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels like with the Patriots out of the market, I don't know, man. I don't know. They had this emotional attachment to him. Who else does? Houston, they have Nick Caserio and a top 5 pick. So I know what I would do if I were them.
Okay. What about Cleveland, who runs a very similar offense and is probably not going to want to pay Baker $40 million? or 35 million. Wouldn't you rather have Jimmy for 27?
Jesse, think about it this way. I think I think the reason we're not seeing eye to eye is because we have fundamental differences in our viewpoint. You're a Niner fan. I'm not. And from your and Niner fan perspective is like, we got to make this work because a lot rides on it. And it seems like where there's a will, there's a way. You can see it happening. If you're a Browns fan, would you want them to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
No,
it's like not even a question.
Not a
right?
chance.
You're not. The league isn't stupid, man. I don't think there's a team over there being like, oh my God, look at Jimmy throw those 10-yard passes. I don't think so, man. You know, if they called you up as a consultant, and be like, what do you think? What do you think about Jimmy? You're closer than us. You'd be like, no, that would be a huge mistake. That's what you would say. And if you were a fan of any team that made a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, you would be despondent. You'd be upset. It would mess up your day. It would ruin your day. Maybe your whole week.
Of course it would. Of course it
would.
I'm
telling you, I just don't see this team being like this magical team out there that's hella dumb. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like Carolina, like draft a quarterback, Matt Rule. Like every team wants the young quarterback. Anyway, Jimmy's handsome though. I'm just saying. Yeah. No, that's part of the thing with the Jimmy ridicule stuff to go back. Like, I think a lot of people either like that he's handsome or resent that he's handsome. So it's kind of another. He has a lot of lovers and haters, like passionate lovers.
Yeah, passionate on both sides. You're right about that.
And I think part of it has to do with his face. It's partly his face. To be honest, I would rather get multiple 5th and 6th round picks for Jimmy instead of getting a 3rd because we always try gold in later rounds. You can trade down. You ain't getting no 3rd for Jimmy.
3 5ths and 3 6ths. We're in.
Kyle tried hard to make Jimmy look good first games of the season, making the offense a passing offense. People called for Kyle's head. Now he's back to rushing. I think that's a good point. If the whole season's about pumping up Jimmy's trade value, let's make him look like he's a real, not just a handoff specialist, but see how that worked out. 3 and 5.
Yeah, not too good.
Not exactly how you drew it up. Are there more? Could there be? Yes. Jimmy's coming back with an extension because Jimmy knows his market. All I got to say about Jimmy is he's got a big fan in the organization in John Lynch. So that's always good. Big fan. Saints make the most sense. AK will be the Debo for them. They have a solid defense that can use Hold on. They still have Jameis Winston. He's under contract next year. They're going to have like a top 12 pick. In what world, if you were a Saints fan, Angelic Ambition, would you be like, wait, let's trade a pick for Jimmy Garoppolo? You know you wouldn't. Come on, stop.
As a fan, no. As a fan, no. You're right. And Jameis Winston is there.
Way cheap.
It's tough. The thing is that you saw them win with a aging Drew Brees who had no arm. So you're thinking, okay, maybe they can make that work, but they're paying the quarterback room already too much. There's no way.
Drew Brees had the mental quick twitch. Jimmy doesn't. I'm sorry.
Well, listen, we know that.
Yeah.
Shh. Everybody else doesn't know that.
His QB class is horrible, though. I don't see that. Like, horrible how? I don't even I haven't even scouted. But all I know, I do this every year. I know how people talk about these quarterbacks, and like everyone's looking who can be great. And the way I look at it is it doesn't matter. Just draft a quarterback, and if he's bad, draft another one next year. If he's good, stick with them for 3 years and then replace him in a few years. If he's great, then resign him. I mean, he doesn't have to be great. A good quarterback on his rookie deal is important. That's a first-round pick. He doesn't have to be great. And if he's bad like Josh Rosen, well, now you have the number 1 pick next year. Do it again. Arizona didn't mess that. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You want to draft quarterbacks. Here's my philosophy in the NFL. You want to draft quarterbacks. It's really freaking important. It's way better than trading for them, signing them. Way better. Way better. First contract quarterbacks is what you want. Unless you're paying for a veteran who's at the same price. Write it down.
Yeah.
It's revolutionary stuff there, guys. It's revolutionary.
You've been saying it for a long time. You've been on that for a long time. I'll give you credit.
Look at the Patriots.
You're right.
It's working. It's Moneyball. It just seems pretty obvious. I mean, it's the most expensive position by far. If you can get good play at that position for way below it's like having a Kia Stinger instead of a BMW. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go. Contenders, Pretenders 2.0. I got to get the Stinger in at least 4 times a show. Got to.
Oh, you're doing a good job. Yeah. That should be a part of our over-under. We should start with over-under and how many times you're going to get Stinger in. I like it.
That's right. Okay, so last week I wrote off the Niners. I'm like Pretenders, wild card, really hard, not going to do it. Okay, 3 in a row now. looking at 4 in a row, maybe 5. I mean, they're really going on a run here. You said they were contenders last week, so why don't you school me?
Okay, so I still think they're contenders. There's one matchup, only one matchup in the playoffs that scares the death out of me, and that is Tampa. If they play Tampa, it's curtains. It's over. I'll be at that game, by the way, because it will be in Tampa, but it is going to be over. The 49ers are not beating the Bucs. Styles make matchups. It's a horrible matchup for the 49ers. Outside of that, though, Green Bay doesn't scare me. Dallas doesn't scare me. The Rams certainly don't scare me. Arizona's probably going to have a bye. We'll worry about them later. I think the 49ers are as good as any of these teams. You know, the Rams went winless in November. Think about that for a second. The Rams went winless in November. Yep. Before November, they were looked at as a Super Bowl favorite. So anything can happen. This is the most wide open I have ever seen the NFL. Like I said, one team scares me. Outside of that, I think they can beat any of these teams. And the Cardinals, who are very good, you and I both love the Cardinals preseason. You a little bit more than me. I thought they would be second in the division. You picked them to go to the Super Bowl. But it's hard to beat any team in the league 3 times in a season. That would have to happen in order for the Cardinals to beat even San Francisco.
That's a good case. Look, I'm not calling the Niners pretenders. That's kind of mean. They've won 3 in a row. It's a little harsh. But I'll say something. I'm not calling them contenders until they win a couple more in a row. If they beat Seattle and Cincinnati back-to-back on the road, okay, we're talking. All right, for sure. You're contenders. If you lose to Seattle this week, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. A contender beats Seattle this week. Oh, they've had your number. Seattle's a tough place to play. I don't want to hear it. Just beat them.
The Debo, Warner, none of that stuff.
Nope. A contender wins this game. You don't have to blow them out. You can win by 1 point. Find a way to get the dub. Otherwise, you're a straight-up pretender. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
It is fair. You're right. I mean, they're one bad loss away from being out of it, right? Like that's the way it is. But right now, barring something crazy happening, like they're going to sneak into the playoffs. Like this, even if they lose this week, every team that's behind them, they virtually have the tiebreaker over. Those teams are going to have to finish with a better record than them because they've beaten them all. As long as they beat the Falcons, all these teams, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Falcons.
What is the number one tiebreaker? Is it if you haven't played each other?
Head to head. If you haven't, then it's going to go conference record. Yeah.
One team, Washington.
The
game behind the Niners, but they're 5-2 in the NFC. So anyway, I mean, I still think the Niners should be a wild card team.
But then there's the 7th seed. That's what I'm saying. Washington can jump them.
No problem. Yeah, but
it's going to be hard.
Wild card team. Really, my question is like, I really think the top 3 teams in the NFC are tough. Tampa.
Who are your top 3?
Tampa, Green Bay, Arizona. I mean, in no particular order, but those 3. Yeah. I don't know about Dallas. They just lost to if you lost to the Raiders, you could lose to the Niners for sure. But those 3 teams, Tampa did lose to Washington a couple of weeks ago. Still, I figured they're going to be peaking at the right time. That's going to be a tough one, but I guess what I want to come back.
I also look at
real quick with the Niners. You can make this run in November and December in the regular season, win a lot of regular season games with your running backs. It's a good formula right now. A lot of teams are doing it, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl that way. At a certain point, your quarterback has to come along for the ride and play better. And you know what didn't happen in 2019? That. Finally, Kyle Shanahan was like, I can't hide you anymore. We need you in the 4th quarter. It's debatable whether he needed to do that. But he decided, look, Patrick Mahomes is going to get hot. You got to play. We can't just – and he couldn't do it. He had the worst 4th quarter ever. So if Jimmy is going to do – if he's the same Jimmy as 2019, that's a problem. My theory is that, give him the best running game and defense in the league, and he's just still not good enough, even though Trent Dilfer was that one year. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still leaning pretender, but if they win these next 2, I'll call them contender.
That defense was transcendent good, though. That wasn't a normal defense. That was all-time great defense. That's different. That's very different. If they win the Super Bowl, there's 3 things that Jimmy's going to have to shatter. 1, you've talked about it. What is it? The 13% or whatever it is. He would have to be the only. Okay. He would have to break that mold. Yes.
It'd be the highest.
That would be a record. Then you've got, and this is Jack's stat, a quarterback that has lost in the Super Bowl has never come back to win a Super Bowl unless they were a Hall of Famer. Jimmy is certainly not that.
Was it John Elway?
Yes.
That's it.
I think it's John Elway.
Yeah.
Maybe just John Elway.
Yeah.
In their first Super Bowl, not just a Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl. And then you would have to. Joe Flacco's the only quarterback since 1988 to win a Super Bowl who had never been to a Pro Bowl previously.
Yep.
That's it. So that's 3 big things that Jimmy would have to just shatter, and that's going to be tough. So do I think they ultimately win a Super Bowl? No, not with Jimmy, but it is wide open. So I have to give him contender status.
There's always time for Trey Lance to swoop in and take this team to another level. I'm just saying, there's time.
Yes.
He might play in this game. We never know. Hero Winchester says, are the Niners' future set in the NFC West? Rams got no first-round picks. Kyler's going to be expensive and have no super team, and the Seahawks are going downhill and with no upcoming first-round picks. Thoughts?
Arizona.
Yeah, wait. Let's pump the brakes on Kyler. I mean, he's not going to be I mean, maybe they'll give him the big extension this year, but seems like you're still relatively cost control for the next couple of years after that in terms of like cap number. So I don't think Arizona's going anywhere the next couple of years.
Arizona's not going anywhere, and here's why. When you extend a player, their money doesn't kick in until the following year. So the cap is going to go up slightly this year. It goes up a ton in 2023 when his cap number goes up. Now, all of a sudden, the percentage game is completely different. Plus, Kyler's a top 7, 8 quarterback in the league. You're not going anywhere with that. They're a really, really good team, and they're going to be for a long time. I do like your Seattle and Rams take, though. I agree with you on those.
All right, let's play over-under. This was fun last week. Let's do it again.
Let's do it. Okay, so we just talked about Lance. You said maybe he gets in this week. Well, let's talk about it. Over under 0.5 snaps for Trey Lance this week. Does he get in for a single play?
Over. Yes.
Over. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going under. I don't think he plays at all.
Well, go ahead. Well, hold on. The last 2 times Jimmy Garoppolo's played the Seahawks, he hasn't made it through the game. So there's historical precedent on my side that Jimmy might not make it through this game. It's been a while since he's made it through against the Seahawks, since 2019, really. Also, it's possible that this offense, they might need a spark, they might need an explosive element. So over.
Good point on that one.
Yeah.
Or it might be a blowout, hopefully, for the 49ers' favor, and then he plays. Yeah, that's good. All right, that's fair. Okay, 1.5 team sacks for San Francisco, over or under?
Better be over, my God. Over. That's such a bad offensive line. And I don't think Russell really moves as well as he did when he was younger. No. Over.
He's looking a little shot, right?
Yes. Yeah.
A little bit.
Not like the same. Yeah. Definitely like his finger's still messed up. I mean, he's missing throws he used to nail with authority.
Well, and he's just making bad. Anyways, he doesn't look good.
Yeah, he does.
But Aaron Rodgers had that around this same age, and he had a resurgence. We'll see what happens with Russell. But right now, it doesn't look good. Okay, over under 90.5 yards for Brandon Ayuk.
Under.
Really?
You know why? No, are we talking like punt return yards too?
No, not punt return. Offensive yards.
Yards from scrimmage?
Mm-hmm.
Under. You know why? Because his quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo. And they're going to run the ball like 800 times in this game. Under.
Listen, I told you guys,
60.
If you criticize Grant on Twitter in that thread, he doesn't care. All right. Over or under 50.5 scrimmage yards for Jennings.
Interesting. That's a good spot. That's a really good spot for it. I'm going to say under, but not by much. But I'm going to go with under to be conservative here. I'm thinking they're going to run the ball a lot.
Okay. I'm going to go over for Ayuk and under for Jennings. Just for the record. Okay. So passing yards for Jimmy, 250.5, over or under?
Under, Jesse.
I'll go $1. I am going to go over. Okay. So these next two are going to go together. I have a bad feeling about this one, Grant. I have a feeling that they're not going to run the ball the way that they should, and they're going to get a little pass happy with the bad secondary. I have a bad feeling about it. I don't know why. I'm going to go over for passing yards. This next one, I'm going to go under. So spoiler alert, I'll let you choose. 30.5 team carries for the 49ers, over or under?
That's a good one. I'm going to say over because I don't think the Seahawks have a good offense at all. And I think they're like a 3-and-out machine over there. The Niners are going to have ample opportunity, and I don't think they're really worried about it. I'm going to say over.
Okay. I'm going under with Debo out.
Damn, okay. You're going to lose, huh?
I know. All right.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. All right. Over, under 0.5 missed field goals for Robbie Gould this week.
Hey, I'm going to go under. That's my guy, Robbie. Shout out you. I like you. Good luck, Robbie. Let me get him.
I'm going to say he misses. He's in a miss one. Yeah. Okay. Right. And then the last one is 0.5 forced turnovers for the San Francisco 49ers. Do they get a turnover force this game?
I think they will. That's they're on a streak. They've been coming in bunches. And I don't know. They don't have to play much. They're usually on the field for like quarter of the game or third of the game. So, yeah, I think so. Azeez Al-Shaair's everywhere right now. I say yes. Over.
He is everywhere. He's like the ocean. I'm gonna go over as well.
That was so based. I love that. That was great. Like the ocean. Wonderful.
I've been following a lot of Debo.
I like that. Oh yeah. All right. So that's our game. We should revisit this next week. We should have done it this week, but with our who won.
You know what though? We actually, I think we hit on majority last week. As I was watching the game, I was checking. I think most of them we actually hit on.
All right, it's up to you guys to keep us honest then. All right, last one: keys to the game and prediction.
Okay, so I just talked about it. I just have a weird feeling that without Debo, that Wagner is still on the Seahawks. I feel like the 49ers are going to do something weird here. I feel like they're going to get a little pass happy in this game. Jimmy's going to throw for over 250. I don't think they're going to get to 30 carries. And I think that that's going to make this game way closer than what it needs to be. Robbie Gould misses a field goal. Maybe that's the difference. I mean, the keys is to run the freaking ball, but I don't see him doing it for some reason.
Boy,
I'm still going to go with the 49ers to win, Grant, but it's going to be close, 27-24 49ers. And I just got a bad feeling about this one. I don't know why. It's Seattle. It's still Russell Wilson. I don't trust it. I do not trust it. And fans are getting a little too confident this week for me. So I just got a bad feeling about this one.
Okay. I guess if there's turnovers, it could get high scoring. And there were turnovers in the last one. And is it supposed to rain? I don't even know. But it seems to me that I don't really think much of either offense. Like the Seahawks they have good players, but somehow they can't get the ball to DK Metcalf. I don't know. And then the Niners don't have Debo this weekend. Without Debo, they're methodical at best. Where's the big play come from? Juszczyk? I mean, not Kittle. Juszczyk probably, right? Down like the wheel routes and that stuff. So I don't know. It seems to me like I'm expecting a low-scoring game, but the Niners have Elijah Mitchell, who I really respect, and the Seahawks have Adrian Peterson. It's like, really? That's the best. You couldn't get Marshawn Lynch. You couldn't get Bo Jackson.
John Alexander.
Like, really? That's the best you can do? So 2017 Niners, low-scoring game, close.
Okay. So since we're under on the stinger, let me bring up the stinger in the show. If you had to put your stinger on it, Grant, one game without Debo, which offense figures it out? Would you put your stinger on Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Lockett, or would you put your stinger on a Jimmy Garoppolo-led offense to figure it out for 1 week and catch fire?
Oh, my God. You put my stinger on this?
Stinger.
I think I trust Kyle Shanahan more than Shane Waldron. I don't know who that Shane Waldron guy is, but I don't think he's going to be employed very long. So I'm not letting Shane Waldron drive my stinger. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there.
All right.
He doesn't even have a permit. No, I got to go with Kyle. I trust Kyle and Mitchell.
Okay.
Kyle. I don't know what the hell's going on with Seattle. That offense looks horrendous. They got rid of Little Schottenheimer and got worse. How?
I don't get it. Anyway. Okay, I thought you'd go the other way with that one. That surprised me.
Nah, man, I don't think that low. The Niners beat the Seahawks. I watched that crap. I watched that game Monday night thinking, all right, let's scout the Seahawks. I came away being like, I'm scouted the Washington football team. Like that's a team the Niners have to actually think about. The Seattle, I mean, they're not a contender, but they're they're a team in the division that has played the Niners well. So what happened with Keneal? What'd I do? I ignored your comment. Trey finna pull a Kaepernick and take the squad over. Maybe.
I hope so. Gosh,
Maybe.
I hope so. That would be great.
I don't know. Jimmy has so many friends, man. He's like, he's a very charming person. That's been Trey's problem. I feel like Jimmy's so likable, but
He's got an aw shucks mentality about him.
yeah, it's true. He's a franchise quarterback with no ego. He doesn't call attention to himself. I think people like it, but so what? Like, you know what they like better? A better quarterback.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Well, I think that's the show, Grant. Guys, 9 minutes over on Last Second Sports. I'm doing the call-in show. Tap in over there. Last Second Sports. Very easy to find. Tap in.
Hold on. Let me just get Keneal real quick because he's losing. He's losing. Hold on. And we got one more. I can't find it. Hey, can you just put it again? You don't have to pay or anything. What's up with Richie James Jr.? Who? I vaguely remember that. He's on IR.
Doesn't ring familiar with me. I don't know who that is.
Nah. All right, I gotta go.
What did Keneal ask?
Hey, Keneal, what were you? What you asking, Keneal?
Oh, wait, hold on. No,
don't.
The last one I see is the
Trey finna
is the $10 one from somebody.
Keneal says people finna be mad at this comment. No, I got you. I think I got it. All right.
Did you?
It's pork chop time. Thank you very much, everyone. Good job, Jesse.
Peace.
Oh, he said y'all two goats and could Trey lead the team to the Super Bowl? Why not? To me, hold on. The Trey Lance, I said yesterday that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't good enough to take a team to a Super Bowl. And we've seen this. We did this movie in 2019. He wasn't good enough. Play Trey Lance. And people are like, whoa, he's not even ready. I mean, he wouldn't even make a Super Bowl. It seems to me like, yeah, he's inexperienced, but you're a run-first team, right? You're a 40 handoff a game team, right? Well, he can hand off, and he has legs, so he can help your run game. And then you know what else helps the run game? The freaking long ball. He can do play action. Jimmy said, I don't want to do play action. We don't do that anymore. He can do it. And you know what? If you need to bring in Jimmy for a couple third and longs, you can bring him in for a couple third and longs. Although he can scramble for a first down on third and long, so I don't see the big deal. I say play Trey Lance, but I know I'm crazy, but I'm just going to be right down the line. And when they lose that playoff game and Jimmy goes 15 for 33, you're going to be like, hey, Grant, you were right.
It may be too late now, but if they had done what we said to do with Trey Lance, which was play him, I don't know, week 1, guess what? They would still probably be 6-5, and you would feel a hell of a lot better going into the playoffs with a weapon like Trey Lance, who has 17 games under his belt, than you would with Jimmy Garoppolo. That I can guarantee you. And
look at all the second-year quarterbacks this year. Real quick before we go, Tua's playing pretty well. Herbert's really good. Burrow's a freaking stud. Hurts is playing well. All of them look pretty good in year 2. It seemed like they benefited from that playing time year 1. Justin Fields gets better every week. What's he going to look like next year? Is Trey Lance going to look like that, or is he going to be in a redshirt rookie year? It's too bad.
Yep. You're right.
Anyway, thank you, Keneal. Thank you, Jesse. Everyone go watch Jesse. Peace.